Welcome to the Life on Tap Expert Interview Series. I'm your host, Jen Partridge. Nice to see you all out there. This month's theme is all about tapping into success, and I'm super excited to welcome our guest, Heather Nichols, into the forum with us today as we really highlight our theme for today, which is owning your worth. And Heather really brings to us over 20 years of experience in business, in living a life with ease, as well as really business done different. And we were speaking about this before the interview, which is one of the courses that she really runs. And it's a new paradigm for business, a new paradigm for bringing it into our life and to really create success in an easeful way. So I'm excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us, Heather.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very delighted to be here with you.
Thank you so much. And Catrice, who is on our team, is spoken so highly of you. And after learning about your work, I am deeply inspired, running my own business as well. I'm constantly running up against burnout and overwhelm and learning how to surrender into the flow. And I know that's one of the pieces that you teach along with this course, which is called Business Done Different. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing and what you like to bring to the world and why it is different?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was saying before we went live about this, it sort of seems grammatically incorrect to say business done different. But there's a difference between different and differently. Differently is like a slight tweak off of center, Different is different. It is different. And one of the things that I play with a lot in this class and in this program and in everything that I do is business actually is the entirety of your life and you're living. And if you wake up in the morning and you are breathing and you're alive and you're awake, you're in business. Whether you have a job or you have a business of your own, no matter what else is going on in your life, you're in business, and it's the business of your whole life. And so for me, these tools that I teach and share, they're about acknowledging that and not trying to separate things, not trying to segment things, but actually going, yeah, I'm a mom, I'm a lover, I'm a partner, I'm a person in the world, I run a business, and all of it gets to be part of all of it and contribute to all of it.
Beautiful. And then was this a journey for you to come to this discovery, or was it something that just naturally was a part of your DNA to approach it in this way?
I would say both. I grew up with parents who were entrepreneurs, and I was always encouraged as a kid to have a business when I grew up. It was like, you can do anything. What would you like to do? What business would you like to create? And I just remember looking around a lot at grown-ups, when I was a kid and going, why is everybody spending like most of their time doing things that aren't fun and that are kind of hard? Like, I didn't get that. I was like, why would you spend like most of your day struggling, and when life could actually be fun and business could actually be fun. And to me, business is my primary creative outlet. It's my primary creative playground. I love business. I love creating, and creation for me is so much about business. And I found these amazing tools in this body of work that I teach that's called Access Consciousness, and then this specialty area called the Joy of Business. And it was like I was home. Everything made sense. It was like, wait, you mean I don't have to like struggle and toil and stress out, and I can actually have fun. And the more fun I have, the more money I make, and the more I change the world. And and I was so delighted to find somebody having a conversation about something that I always knew. And I just dove into it, and it's changed my life. Yeah.
So what was the difference between what was happening in your day-to-day life before you discovered these tools within your business and your life, and then what is happening now, and how do they look differently?
Well, I just so dramatically different. I am a single mom. I have two boys that are 11 and 14. And when I got divorced, they were 1 and 3. And I already had a business. I was a body-centered psychotherapist. I owned a movement studio. I taught dance and yoga and meditation workshops and stuff. And I was struggling. It was hard. Being a single mom was hard. Running my business was hard. And I just didn't feel supported by me or the world. And I had a lot of tools, but then I found these tools that I now teach. And it was such an amazing invitation to really, to trust me. And if I had an inkling of wait, maybe this could be easier, or maybe this could be, maybe I don't have to actually push through to get something to happen in my business, to follow that and to be curious about it. And what has shown up for me since I started really playing with the stuff that I teach is my business multiplies exponentially every year. My income has grown an average of 56% a year for 5 years. I have more fun than I've ever, more and more fun all the time. I travel all around the world. I have a partnership with a beautiful man who lives in a couple states away, and we've been together for 9 years, and it's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And
wow.
It's just, everything. I love my life. And my business is part of it, and it's not, if I'm not having fun, something needs to change. That's really where I function from. If this isn't enjoyable, something needs to change. Mm-hmm. And that's also how I run my business. People that work with me, if they're not having fun, then that's not going to work out for anybody either. We will change things up, because fun.
How do you work? Obviously you've got goals and objectives that you're seeking to reach, and there's, you have people on your team that you're managing. How do you work with the team when there's, perhaps a goal didn't get reached, or someone says that, they didn't achieve what they set out to do? Something that could be perceived as more of a serious topic about performance or, specific goals, if that's not happening. How do you bring fun into that equation while perhaps really making sure everyone's accountable and you're still moving in the right direction?
Yeah, that's a huge question. Let's see where to start with that. For one, I don't actually work with goals. I don't do goals. For me, goals are a setup for success and failure are just a judgment as far as I'm concerned. So reaching a goal or not reaching a goal, it sets you up for I either succeeded or I failed. And, most of us are so hard on ourselves that everything kind of tends to look more like failure, even when there's so much more going on there than meets the eye. Right. So I really do run my business from the energy of it and looking at, okay, what do I actually desire to create in the world? What is the future even beyond my life that I desire to create? And one of the things for me is also just, business on planet Earth is the way that it's done for most people, it's very abusive. It's very unkind. Mm-hmm. It's very the body isn't honored. It's so stressful for people, So that's one of my big, I would say, sort of targets is to actually create a different reality with business on the planet where people get that business actually can be a contribution to us and that it can be fun and enjoyable and nurturing. And that as we choose more of that, we actually make more money. That's actually what creates way more money than anything I've ever seen before. So not having goals, but having this sense of, here's the future that we're moving toward. Now that can show up a lot of different ways. And, yeah, so that I don't want to go on too long, but there's so many ways that I can answer that question.
Yeah. And it's such a great piece, because I feel like we really are, there's such an invitation in all areas of our lives to evolve. And, you know, no matter what area you go into in life, whether it be food, whether it be even like relationships, but business being one of them, there's an invitation to evolve. We're entering into a new world where more women are CEOs, such as yourself, and different ways that companies like Google may interact, and culture of company. And there's a deep invitation to change how we do business. What do you think the businesses of the world, if you had a message for them, what do you think that they really need to know within their DNA in order to be able to shift into that new dimension?
Yeah, great question. I would say the primary thing is to actually get out of judgment. Judgment is one of the most destructive energies that there is on the planet. It's really destructive to business. It's destructive to creativity, and it's destructive to our money flows, as well as our bodies and everything, you know. So, and business is really set up as this thing, you know, success and failure, that's a judgment. Did I meet my goal or not? That's a judgment. And even when you were talking about, you know, how do you work with a team? If you're like, well, these are your, you know, this is your job description and you didn't do it, that's a judgment, you know? So getting to this, like really looking beyond judgment and beyond problems. Because what if there wasn't anything that was a problem? What if everything could be a possibility? And it's the point of view that you take about it that determines what shows up next.
Beautiful. That really makes sense. Definitely. And, you know, as you grow, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like as you approach that level of philosophy, you start to embrace more of a fluidity that people can move in different ways within your company as well. And, you know, you hire someone for one reason, but they may actually start liking something else, and having less of a rigid structure, but just kind of recognizing where the flow is most beneficial and how people are, you know, like you might look at someone that's high performing in one area, but maybe not high performing in another area. And it's not a judgment. It's just like, wow, that area is obviously lighting you up more because you must be enjoying it more, or it must feel more easeful for you if you're getting a lot of success there. And perhaps there's an area where you're not, in the old paradigm, doing very well, but that could just be a sign that maybe your interest isn't there. And how do we create a way for everyone to flow with what feels the most easeful and inspiring?
Yeah, it is so incredibly pragmatic to run your business like that, because the truth is people don't show up with enthusiasm to do things that they don't enjoy doing. And it's not wrong. You know, in the world of business, it's like enthusiasm doesn't matter. But let me tell you something. Enthusiasm is one of the most generative and creative energies that there is. So right. I actually want everybody in my business to be enthusiastic about what they're doing. Because then they're going to do it, and they're going to do a good job with it. And they're actually going to bring their brilliance to it, which is what I'm interested in when I hire somebody. Is the first question I ask people is, what's fun for you? That's the very first job interview question that I ask people. What do you enjoy? You know, because I'm not going to hire you for something that you don't enjoy, because I know that's not going to work out for anybody. And people do change all the time. That's not a problem either. It's actually an incredible possibility. And if you're willing to go, okay, cool. Now what? Now what would you like to do? I'm constantly, my team is we're always moving around and changing things, but it's part of the play of creation. And it's things just get greater and greater and bigger all the time.
Awesome. And how does that play into honoring one's worth? Because I feel like worth is so deeply connected to that place that feels enthusiastic, right? If you're really honoring yourself, if you know that you're good at a certain area and you really love that, there's a level of worth that comes out of you. Can you talk a little bit about how you would encourage someone to both own their own worth, ask for what they feel their worth is, and really direct their life, whether they're working in a company or they're starting their own business, to let that inner worth guide the process?
Yeah, it's a huge one as well. And because the thing is that we are all energetic beings, even if we don't recognize that we are. Like, I mean, people that would never have a conversation about energy, there's picking up on things all the time. So if you're out there and you're like, come and, hire me for this whatever service, but you don't actually value you don't believe that it is valuable, it's people are going to pick up on that. And that can be one of the biggest things that destroys people's businesses. Mm-hmm. And so one of the places I love to work with, companies and entrepreneurs is actually looking at, okay, what's going on in your inner world, and do you actually truly have a sense of value of you? And if you don't, get to work on that, and start to actually get out of judgment of you, and every time you notice that you're judging yourself, stop, and there's a whole bunch of other tools that I have that's a huge part of what I teach, is just getting out of judgment in every area of life, because it changes everything. But because when we do have that sense of, yeah, I do make a difference, I like what I offer is valuable, people will pay whatever it is that you're asking, and receive so much more. People can actually receive so much more from what you give in your business, if they pay for it, and if they pay an amount of money that sort of matches what it is that you're delivering. Right. It's fascinating. I've written a bunch of articles about this, and just like, how do you play with your pricing structure in such a way that really does reflect your value of you, and allows people to receive way more from what you're giving them, because they're paying for it, because people value what they pay for. It's just true,
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually, it's really beautiful that you're bringing business and this level of understanding into more of the healing and health oriented worlds, because I feel like there are a lot of healers or coaches that learn to, because they were healing themselves, that maybe they don't have the business background, and they're looking for a way to financially live off their practice, but they don't have the business side of things. And that can be a bit of a struggle. And then if they're just starting out, perhaps they haven't built their practice yet. And then often at that time, sometimes you might have more judgments on yourself or more self-doubt, because you haven't proven per se your worth to the market yet. Yeah. And I feel like some people can get stuck in that space, like, I want to be charging this much, but I can barely pay rent. Therefore, I feel like I have to undercut myself just so I can get by. But then I'm attracting a different type of clientele that I really want to attract. Yeah. And I feel like people can go around in circles at that particular level. Can you give some advice to someone who might be dealing with that?
Yeah, I encounter that all the time with my clients. And one of the things that I play with a lot with people is actually creating multiple revenue streams. Because everything that you do in your business is a revenue stream, and actually has the capacity to, like, you can create more revenue streams with everything that you do. So there's really, when you really see business as this creative endeavor, you're willing to look at, with curiosity, at what you're doing, there's so many different revenue streams always available for us to create. And that could be within the same business, but it could also be, I tell people a lot, if they're just getting started, and they're struggling with money, because side note, like that is one of the most repelling energies. If you're like, I need money, I need money, I need money, nobody's going to come and hire you because they
especially if you're a coach and you're selling empowerment.
Exactly. It doesn't work. So a lot of times I'll say, get a job, like get a side job, or, like take the stress off. Find where else money can come into your life. Maybe it's through investments, maybe, whatever it is, so that you can have some ease with it while you're building. And then what you're offering the world isn't about, I need money, so you need to hire me. It's, hey, I have this. Would you like some? And if you would, great. And if you wouldn't, that's great too.
Yeah. And then at that point, you can actually ask for a higher rate because your basic needs are met. And therefore you can hold that higher level of worth with what you feel your core offering is as a coach or as someone that's selling a service. And you're not feeling like you have to compromise yourself, and recognizing that it is a journey that, if you're just starting out in a new business, you may have to have multiple streams of income. And I really love that that's how you phrase it, because some people are like, oh, I just had to get another job, which I didn't want. But like, even as you grow, as you make more money, having multiple streams of income is fun and exciting as well.
Exactly. It's like many different
flavors.
Yeah. I would never not. I mean, I'm creating a new business with my partner right now that's like completely different from what I'm doing. And we're doing all this stuff with real estate. Like, we're just playing with all these different ways that we can create money and revenue. And because there's just so much available, like, and especially when you don't have the point of view of lack, it's everything actually is a revenue stream. Everything. So why wouldn't you have 100 of them, Yes,
exactly. Totally. So that brings me to an interesting question is, how do you decide, because obviously, especially as you grow and your business grows, there are often a lot of opportunities that come your way. Oh, join me in this project, or would you like to do this? Which could be many amazing opportunities, but also it requires time and energy and bandwidth, and knowing when to say no, and knowing when to dive into something, and really recognizing what that commitment really means in relationship to the other things you're focusing on.
Yeah, great question. Well, one of the things that I really function from in my business and my life is always asking questions, because when you ask questions, you're opening up possibilities, you're getting more awareness of what's going to work. So rather than going to like the pros and the cons or a list of, actually going, okay, there's two questions that I would say to ask here. One is this an opportunity, or is this a possibility? And an opportunity is going to have more sort of short-term, there's more sort of limitation and short-termness to it, whereas a possibility is way more of an energy of like the expansion of your future and everything that you're creating,
Yes.
So those are, and you just sort of play with, okay, is this an opportunity? Is this a possibility? What's your gut feeling on it? And then
that's
the other
beautiful.
thing,
I love that, because I feel like possibility, it's more of a longer term plan sometimes as well. You may not get like a full return on investment right away, but it might have a bigger destination. And opportunity is a bit more like, hey, this can really this could work right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with either one.
Right.
And I will say that like the energy of creating a future is a massive, like the energetics of that it's a huge pull for money and more like the growth of your business. It's a huge pull for that into your life. So it may not seem like a linear, like, oh, this is going to create money for me right now. But sometimes just adding the energy of something changes everything else that you're playing with. And then all of a sudden, new clients show up in another place or whatever. So it's really amazing how this stuff works. And then the second question, real quick, is actually just, does this match the future that I'm asking for? What is it that you're here to create on planet Earth? If something comes up, it's like, okay, cool, because there will be a million things you can do. Does this really match what I'm asking to create in the world?
Beautiful. It's such great questions that really clarify where you should go. How do you decide what is a technique that you use when someone's approaching you to either partner with or to hire to bring on the team, when you're assessing collaborating with someone? How do you intuitively gauge? Because I'm guessing there's probably a side of pragmatic choice as well as intuitive choice on, is this the right fit for me with this person before you even know them? You know, you might have had a few interviews with them, or you might have met them a couple of times that you don't fully know them yet. How do you make the right choice, and what do you use?
Yeah, well, I would say the pragmatics to me are always what is intuitive. Like, I don't really use my mind in my business at all. I really am willing to be very, like, kind of, I would say, like, out of control in a way, with like not trying to figure things out, but always looking at the energy of it, and like always following my gut. And it's so far has been so phenomenal what's shown up for me. So it works. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to know somebody to know if it's going to work. I mean, we all have that, you know, where you're just like, I mean, people get married and they're like, I knew it wasn't going to work, but they did it anyway. You know, I mean, this is like, so what if the clarity that we have when we, you know, we say hindsight is 2020, what if we could have that kind of clarity, like looking at the future and just really trusting ourselves to know what it is that we know. And also I would say one other piece about working with people is you want to, when you're in conversations with people, whether it's somebody who wants to partner with you or you're hiring them or whatever, you want to also really be looking at the gut feeling, the intuitive sense of it, because people will always say things that they're not actually going to follow through on, and that's not a problem, and it's not wrong. And we all get excited about things, you know. But the more you play with this, the more you sort of just know, okay, I don't get that that's actually what's going to occur here. Okay, cool. That doesn't mean I say no, but it does mean I ask more questions. It does mean I look at, okay, well, maybe there's other people to bring in, or there's something different we could create here. So just get creative with it.
Gosh, such amazing insight. And can you tell me a little bit about some of the programs that you're doing? Because I know, like, I feel like I've just had such an amazing coaching session with you right now. Thank you. And how would someone go deeper with you? How would they learn more about what you're doing? What are some of the programs? I know you have a 6-month business training program. What do people do when they train with you?
Yeah, that's kind of an intensive program with me. It's 6 months, and it's called the Generative Business Pods. So it's a big group, and then little small groups, and we really dive into these tools and these conversations of the energetics of creating our business, the value of us. You know, what is, like, how does your business fit into your life, and your life into your business, and looking both at sort of the principles and the tools that people can use, and then also really having specific conversations about people's businesses. So there's private sessions, there's lots of different ways that I work with people in that program. And then I had this 3-day Business Done Different. It's a masterclass. It's a Joy of Business masterclass. And it's 3 days. Sorry?
Is that in person or online?
It's usually both. I do them in person, and then I do a live stream so people can join via live stream. So all over the world. I did one in Croatia this summer. Have one coming up in Colorado in a couple weeks. So all over, and that's a real deep dive too into the tools, and like really looking from a completely different point of view at how do you work with people, how do you create money, how do you work with your money once it comes into your life, you know, how can you create lots of different things in your business, and creating business as a gift to the world. Whatever it is that you do. You could sell cars and change the world selling cars.
Exactly. As long as you're having fun then, right?
Exactly.
And that's what I really love about the practice that you're sharing, because it's an invitation. We do business, like 80% of our life a lot of the time. Like if you're really into your business, like even when you're not at work, you're thinking about your business, you're thinking about what you're going to do. And it really does, it can take over your life. So why would you not be choosing to have fun and make it fun and really transcend the old way? And in terms of like your workflow within your business, do you change it up? Do you feel like you have a structure that you follow? Do you add things during the day to bring fun? Or is it just like, I'm just enjoying the process of writing this email? How do you bring all of that fun in?
Yeah, I would say all of it. I mean, it's so my business is, I might be like on a business call taking my kids to school. And then like today I live in the Rocky Mountains. I have a beautiful mountain in my backyard. So I do these Facebook Live little groups and classes where I do a Facebook Live every day and we do like energetic exercises. So I was hiking and doing it today. I went up into the woods and we played with the earth and nature. And so I'm not like a formal business person, and of course, like there are times where it's like, there's a class happening and we're in a venue and there's, but it's really like, it's because the thing is that we do think about our businesses all the time, but we think that that's wrong, but it's not. Most of us just really love to create. We love business and people don't realize that they do. So what if it wasn't wrong? And you could actually have that just be really everywhere in your life. But your kids could be part of it and your, hiking could be part of it. And, it's just business as the adventure of living.
Beautiful. I love that tagline. That's awesome. So if someone wanted to reach out to you or get involved, how would they find your work?
Well, my website is heathernichols.com. So that's the easiest. And my email is heather@heathernichols.com. So I actually I'm never too busy to, interact with people. And I just love engaging with people and contributing to them. So love hearing from people. And then I'm, social media, YouTube, Facebook. I love Facebook. I play on Facebook a lot, do a lot of Facebook Lives, and I have a podcast of my own called Creating Beyond Reality. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you've got a lot going on, and it's just really impressive to see someone who has grown an amazing business. And I know that like you've really got an amazing flow within your company, both financially as well as like the success of your products. And to see that done in such ease is like a breath of fresh air for me. And I know it is for so many as well. So I just really want to thank you for sharing with us today. And I feel like this is the beginning of many conversations. I'd love to have you back, and I'd love to share your work with everyone, because, so much of our audience is in the health, in the wellness, in doing good on the planet. And we should all be enjoying our life while we're doing that. So,
and making as much money as you want to make, like really, and it's possible. And that's really, parting words or whatever. It's possible. It's not just like I do this and I'm cool. No, it's possible. And I see people changing this and having more of this every day. And that is so the world that I desire to live in. So,
and do you think that it's possible because of the practices that people are doing? It's possible because they are bringing joy. It's possible because they are bringing ease. It's possible because they're not bringing judgment. Like, do you feel it because of these ingredients that it makes the financial success possible?
Yes, absolutely. It's just the tools are just a means to an energetic change and an energetic reality that is about joy and abundance. And it also is just really a choice of going, you know what? I'm not gonna do it the way that I've been doing it anymore. This has to change, and it's time to trust me and know what I know.
Yeah.
And that's the first step. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not about saying, okay, when I'm off work, I'll go have fun, and when I'm at work, I'm going to be really serious. Actually blending the two, and then they really do become part of your lifestyle. So that's super awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience? Any final like gem of wisdom that you like, I just want everyone to get this message right now before we close up our interview?
You know, there's a really cool mantra that you can use that will change like everything if you use it 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night. And it just is, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And glory meaning like the abundant expression of life. So say it 10 times in the morning, say it 10 times at night, say it all day long if you want. It changes things in magical ways. So
beautiful. I feel like I need to write that on my whiteboard in the office so everyone gets to see it as well.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Heather. This has been awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. A total delight to be with you. Yeah, thank you.
And if you guys are tuning into the Life on Tap expert interviews in the membership area, hello, we will be putting the links below the video so you can go check out all of her amazing offerings and gifts. If you're tuning into the podcast and you want to join the Life on Tap community, head on over to jenniferpartridge.com/lifeontap. And we would love to have you in there. And just once again, thank you to everyone for joining us in this interview as we all continue to expand our consciousness and know what we are worthy for in success. All right. Love you all. Bye.